Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing alright. Let's just dive on into this discussion here. Lawbringer has gotten a severe and insane nerf to his parry punish values. As you guys can see here, light riposte damage 15, blind justice 30, swift justice 10, and impaling charge decreased from 5. Now this is insane because this increases the amount of parries that Lawbringer has to get to win the fight, and unfortunately Lawbringer wasn't really compensated with anything. These values are good on paper, but when it comes to gameplay, now Lawbringer has to still turtle up. He has always been a turtle hero. He relied on these parry aspects, and with Shove on Red still in the game, and is still a very strong tool against 50-50s and just anything in general, he's still going to be the same hero, but now he has to parry like maybe 1 or 2 more times for the damage repose that he usually got before. And so Lawbringer players like myself, I think this nerf on the damage was necessary. It's a necessary evil. However, the problem still exists with Lawbringer. He's always still going to be a turtle hero. He's got that 4 MS top light, which is great for interrupting, option selecting, and all that sweet stuff. But now they have to focus on fixing the hero so that he has more offense. I think that's what a lot of players wanted. Many of the players in the community were tired of his high damage values and his shove on red mechanics, but they didn't address that. Maybe they'll address that in the future patches, but right now he just got a significant nerf, nothing given towards him, and he's still going to play the same. He's still going to be the same type of hero where you have to not throw out attacks if you want to eat 30 or 40 damage parry punishes now. So we'll see what happens. I think this nerf was necessary to an extent, but not compensating him and giving him some sort of valued opener or reliable opener is a mistake. So until then, people are still going to cry about how Lawbringer is a turtle hero and his parry punishes are going to be significantly high. And like Stefan said, you know, one hero at least has to be the highest parry punish, and it's Lawbringer. And to an extent, that's great. That's great, and that's what he's known for. But please, Ubisoft, give him some sort of opener, some sort of reliable, consistent opener to deal damage or deal pressure. His unblockable heavies are great. His top light is insanely good, and he has a good option select now too. But shove on red is a bit of a problem, and I think we need to address that and see what we can do to fix that in the future. Let me know what you guys think of the Lawbringer nerfs, because I think they nerfed him a little bit too much. He's gonna be the same hero with lower damage values, and that's all that's going to be changed. Now, how is this going to affect him in 1v1 potential? You know, 1v1s, this is probably where he suffers the most. Now he's going to have to parry a little bit more to have the win in the fight. And it's going to be more challenging, but you know, I'm always up for a challenge. That's why I play Artemisha and have a good time with the hero, you know? Just it's all about mindset. But the nerf was necessary, and hopefully they address and give him more tools. 4v4 gameplay, you know, I don't think this is going to affect him too much. He's always had a very good gank when it comes to impale. The damage wasn't necessary because another hero that was fighting alongside the Lawbringer would be the one to deal most of the damage as well. So impale still has the same type of moveset where you just get guard broken and then impale with no, pretty much no counterplay. So his ganking potential is still really good. Anti-ganking, still really good because he's a shove. And a good parry, option select, all that sweet stuff, shove on red. So he's still going to be a strong hero and a viable tool in competitive 4v4. Now moving on to Gladiator here. Now this guy, he's been storming 4v4 gameplay for the longest time now, getting toe-stepped to death. The problem was that revenge was not gained as much when it comes to his bash toe stab, and it also dealt 20 damage as well when you got the second feat from Haymaker. So they increased the revenge gain to 30, and they decreased the damage to 5, and it was 10 when you added the Haymaker and toe stab. 20 damage, and so this is good, this is important, and I'm pretty sure this is going to lower him significantly in the competitive tier list, because when I saw the competitive games, Gladiator was run a lot, and I feel like it's going to lower his value because you're going to want to gank with the least amount of revenge possible. And so in 1v1 it doesn't really matter. 4v4s he's going to be nerfed significantly, and this is a good nerf as well. We don't want to abuse this bug and abuse Haymaker as well. Haymaker shouldn't be that strong. It should be a good feat, but 5 damage is honestly a lot of damage already. So what do you guys think about the Gladiator nerf here? I think it was necessary, and I think that's a good change overall. And a small update on Hitokiri here. Her decreased Mangetsu uncharged opener heavy has been decreased to 28 damage from 30, and this now falls in line with her kick damage, which is 28, and I feel like they still should decrease the damage on that because it should be the opposite. Just like Warden's first bash, level 1 nets his light attack, and then charge nets the heavy. So maybe they will do that, maybe they won't. That's why Hitokiri is really good in the first place. Good 50-50. And a small buff to her. Forward, left, right throws now push the opponent 0.25 meters farther than before. So good for ledging people, good for throwing, all that sweet stuff. And now more nerfs and nerfs. Jormungandr. I know a lot of people don't like this hero because he's a stamina bully. They're decreasing his stamina damage overall, just tweaking the values. And this hero in itself, the foundation of this hero is wrong, and they need to rework this hero entirely. All stamina damage has been decreased. This is great. Wall staggers. This is the small buff he does get. Wall stagger on throws now occur 100 MS later. Side heavy finish, just wall staggers 300 MS later. So he's just able to get the top heavy. Good changes overall to this hero. I'm glad he's getting some of these tweaks, but they need to rework him overall. And now we go on to another huge nerf. So these three heroes, Shinobi, Highlander, and Conqueror, they all have charged heavies. And when you could charge that heavy, that first wind up could parry attacks. And now with this nerf, they cannot be cancelled at a specific amount of time now. And so these heroes, they will not be able to have those safe parries. So if you did a heavy into GB, Highlander, Shinobi, and Conqueror, they would be able to negate that 100% of the time. The only thing that you could have done is to risk or make a good read on throwing out your heavy so that they'd eat the heavy damage, but right now they're able to pretty much negate that mix-up. So now they won't be able to have those safe parries anymore. These heroes at high level play will now have to focus and actually try to parry attacks instead of using these safe parry attempts. And so this is great, amazing change. I'm glad they addressed this. I think they've been meaning to do it for a long time. And so now these heroes will actually take a little bit more skill. The skill curve will increase, and you can actually bait out these heroes now and guard break them if they mess up the parries. It was always a pain fighting an insanely good Highlander, a good Shinobi, and a good Conqueror, because you had to make very good reads, let your heavies fly to actually get damage in, because they could just do safe parries and negate all your heavy into feint mix-ups and heavy into light attack mix-ups. And this is great. This is going to be good for the game. It's going to make the hero that you're playing have more skill, the player increase their skill gap, and overall just having a better time in the game. You know, having broken mechanics that break the game and are unfun for the player base is not a good way to keep the community alive. So breaking down these changes, nerfing certain aspects about the game, and buffing certain points that make the game feel more healthier and stronger is what we need. So great change. Good job, devs. And now let's just jump on over to Tiandi. Now Tiandi did get a really cool buff. Now he's always been a stamina heavy hero, so they changed it so that the forward dodge now branches to tiger dodge from 100 MS to 400 MS, was 100 MS to 300 MS. Now this means that you can delay certain attacks now, so this is good because good heroes, good players at high level will know the right parry times anyways, and so the more you delay a certain attack, the higher chance you get of making them actually go for that reaction. At least players who want to go for parries. People who just want to block, well then your heavies and lights are useless and you're not gonna have a fun time. You know, those players are always cancers to play against. But this is good because I want Tiandi to flow more, and I think they should address this to other Wooing heroes like Zhenhu as well. They're gonna fix his zone attack. It now has a stamina cost of 30 on the first strike, 10 on the second, and 10 for feinting. This makes the cost the following: zone attack 40 stamina cost from 60, that's huge. Zone attack feint 50 stamina cost from 60, that's also big. Zone attack cancel to dragon kick 60 stamina cost from 80. Now this is huge. A lot of players, when they're watching me my Tiandi gameplays on my YouTube videos, they're always telling me to use the kick mix up more, and I'm like, well, I'm always using a lot of my stamina anyways, just dodge around. So if I use the kick, I'll be out of stamina soon, and if I fight a bash hero, I'm gonna lose my stamina if I get hit by the bash. And so it wasn't really a reliable mix-up. And also, even if you use the mix-up, and a smart player will usually just take the kick anyways, because his kick doesn't net you anything unless you're super close to the wall, like right next to it, or like a certain distance so that the undodgeable light will hit. And even then, if you dodge, you'll just take 12 damage to the face, which is not that much compared to other heroes with certain mix-ups. Hitokiri gets 28 damage, Warden gets 18. They're very high damage numbers. And Tiandi, I feel like when I use him, I feel like I'm using a toothpick to stab my enemies. His damage output is insanely low. It's very standard when it comes to his heavies, but his light attacks are very low. Undodgeable light's only 12 damage? Come on. Even Zhenhu, the new hero, actually it's 13 damage. Zhenhu has 14 damage lights, which, I don't know, it's 400 MS, but Tiandi's is 500 MS, which is nicer. Orochi's, I believe it's 17 damage. Zerker's is also 17 as well, so I think it's due time for Tiandi to get a small damage increase to his lights, maybe 15 undodgeable lights or something like that, just something to make him in line with the rest of the heroes that actually have dodge attacks. Hopping on to Warlord here, he's getting a pretty good buff now. Every single patch he's gotten insane buffs, and now he's rising up the ranks of the tier list, so this is really good for him. I know a lot of people hate Warlord, but you know, I do like to play Warlord because he's a fun hero. Playing against him, that's probably a different story if he's just bashing you all day, but he's got a lot of utility that I love to use. So increased top light opener speed from 500 ms to 600 ms. This is great. This is honestly great. Unfortunately, the only thing I'm worried about is his animation is going to be wonky, just like every single other hero that has increased 600 ms to 500 ms. Look at Lawbringers, Raiders lights. They're very wonky. The animation doesn't really connect, and I doubt that they did actually work on new animations for Warlord when it comes to that aspect. So I suppose we'll just wait until the patch comes out and see if this does help Warlord. I think this will help Warlord a lot. The top light won't be able to crush and counter as well, but to be honest, crushing counters at faster speeds is probably better in the first place, as long as you weren't able to whiff a mile behind you like Highlanders. Highlanders crushing counters is actually really good and really safe to an extent compared to other crushing counters, because he could just walk backwards like a mile away and be safe from heavy into guard breaks or heavy into whatever. So that's a good change for Warlord. Hope to see it work well. And now the next buff we have is increased forward momentum for all these heroes. So Kensei's Nature's Wrath is going to have more forward tracking. This is great. It's going to help him catch more people in probably 1v1s a little bit. You have to make a read though. And 4v4 gameplay. Great addition. Gladiator, forward dodge lights can have more tracking. It always had okay tracking, forward momentum, but now it's going to be even better. Shaolin's Lotus Leaf. This is his key stance top heavy, so it's unblockable. That's going to be interesting to play out. 40 damage. Key stance unblockable is going to be fun. Blackbriar's Tenebris Thrust. Now this one had no tracking beforehand. It was actually not the best move to use. It's kind of like Valiant Charge, but now I want to see if they made it like Valiant Charge. So we'll have to see how it is. I don't think it's going to catch people when dodge rolled anyways. So let's just wait and see how that comes out. Conqueror's Charged Heavy State Forward Strafe, Opener Lights, and Infinite Light Attacks. Now this is the problem with Conqueror that everyone has been complaining about. Every light attack you throw the Chain Light, a lot of it would miss just because he didn't have any forward momentum. So this is going to help him insanely. This is just like the buff that they gave Shaman a while back, where her forward momentum was increased so that her lights and her zone attack would land more. So this is great. Great buff for all these heroes. I'm really glad they worked on these changes. It's going to be great for people who roll a lot and just open up more reads and more mind games. And now to the notable bug fixes. These are, I think these are really important for Raider. The Raider's Fury now causes a heavy hit reaction. Before it was medium, and this is a big change because in 4v4 gameplay, the heavy hit reaction is going to be insane for team play, and with medium to heavy, it's going to be huge. Like, there's going to be a lot of open time for your opponents and your teammates to deal damage to them, so this is good. It's going to be annoying for ganking purposes, but competitive for honor, am I right? Highlander fixed an issue that allowed the Highlander to let his guard back in offensive stance for a short time while dodging. Oh yeah, this is the weird one where he would just leave offensive stance, so I'm glad they fixed that. Always annoying when I did play Highlander. Jing Jun's fixed multiple issues that caused Jing Jun's auto-block attacks to cause camera shakes during heavy attacks and allowed him to slide a large distance during light attacks. Yeah, this was like a tech that Jing Jun could use, and it was unparryable heavy attack. It would also make both opponents screen shake. So your screen would shake and his screen would shake too. It was the weirdest, wonkiest animation ever. It was probably the most annoying thing when you're fighting high level Jing Jun. It's an exploit, and honestly it was probably one of the most annoying things when I fought another Jing Jun. It's very good, and I'm glad they fixed that. Really annoying. Punch through, now this is huge too. This is huge. Punch through now probably deals 100% increased chip damage, and it was 200%, so that is going to decrease punch through's value significantly. So Warlord, you know, he's not gonna, I don't think people are gonna be running punch through as much anymore. We'll see though. Punch through has always been a good feat overall when the buff did come out, because it was 200%. That's huge, but now they decreased it, so that's about half. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Traps, this is also huge for competitive play. Now visible on slopes and stairs, so now traps will not be that annoying. I know a lot of traps were banned. Bear trap is banned anyways, and so in matchmaking this will be fine. Competitive play, probably not so much. They might actually bring this back now so that you can actually see the traps, so they might unban it. So we'll have to see. We'll have to I'll have to talk to Zero, Craig, and Freeze and all them competitive players about that, you know what I'm saying, guys? And there you have it. That is the end of the video. Pretty much all the important topics that I thought were important, the significant nerfs, the significant buffs. What do you guys think about it? Do you guys think these bugs and these nerfs and buffs were noteworthy and needed in the game? Please let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I really appreciate that. And if you did enjoy it, please be sure to like, comment down below, subscribe if you guys are new because I cover a lot of this stuff. And that's gonna do it for me. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a good night and take care.